Hi everyone, Comic Book Reviewer here. This time reviewing on the 2002 Scooby-Doo film. Now as you know, the 2002 Scooby-Doo film, it was known as Scooby-Doo the movie, was a 2002 fantasy adventure comedy film, which was the first installment in the Scooby-Doo live-action films, as well as being directed by Raja Gosnell, who also did Home Alone 3, Big Mama's House and all that, and the screenplay being written by James Gunn. The premise of the film is meant to follow Mystery Inc. We see how, after solving a mystery, we kind of see how the team get annoyed with each other, and we see how, because of their rise to stardom, we see how Fred has become this obsessed glory hog and kind of seeing things like a golden opportunity. Daphne kind of being sick of always being captured, and Velma getting tired of Fred stealing credit for her work, and even getting annoyed with Fred's self-obsessed persona. And we do kind of see how, the gang split up, leaving Scooby and Shaggy to basically be on their own. And we see how 2 years later, they're asked to inspect this tropical resort area known as Spooky Island. And we do kind of see how, Velma, Daphne, Fred, Scooby, and Shaggy end up meeting each other again, and we do kind of see how, over the film, they learn to kind of work together again, realise their flaws, and see basically their screw-ups and how it kind of might have affected them. And I think what the film gets right at is that it actually feels like the team actually do try to come to terms with their flaws. You see them kind of realising their screw-ups. And I like how Fred here is meant to be a little like seeing his rise to stardom as this golden thing. And I like how, unlike the other Scooby-Doo media after this, they actually did Fred right here, because, when he does see Velma getting annoyed with him, he actually realises his mistakes. And when he does get called out for it, you can kind of tell he does try to improve himself and do something better. And I like how, Velma is supposed to be what she's supposed to be. A bit of a smartass. She can figure things through. And I kind of like how Daphne is portrayed as a bit of a badass, but not full-on psycho-violent like Velma. And I think for the rest of the film is that it's an obvious plot to who the villain is going to be. And again, if you put two and two together, then you know who the villain is going to be. And you know what the plot is going to be about. A mysterious island, characters inspect it, you know it's going to be something from their past that kind of comes to bite at them, and all that. And I think for the most part, the CG, I think, wasn't bad. Again, it was a time when CG was still being built up to what it needed to be. And I feel like, some characters feel like they were thrown right to left. Like Mary Jane, you also got a character who tries to hit on Velma with no real purpose. And I get the film was meant to be a little more matured, but because of the Josie Pussycats movie, the film had to be cut down for a family rating. And I think it wasn't bad, but understandable. Because if you are noticing a failure with one of your projects, you need to fix up what went wrong with the other one. And I feel like for the most part, I really do think James Gunn knew what he wanted to do with the movie. I feel like, it kind of shows how, because of Mystery Inc. rising to stardom, we see how some of the characters do get annoyed with each other. We see how Fred kind of becomes egocentric. We kind of see how Daphne gets annoyed at being used as a prop. We kind of see how Velma feels more like she's being taken for granted. And I kind of like the idea where, some of the characters are still working out their personalities, their flaws and issues. And I admit, yeah, I still think Matthew Lillard still does a good job for Shaggy, because he plays this guy trying to figure out his life. He's trying to kind of show Scooby-Doo that they're not going to give up on each other no matter what. And I think for the rest, the film feels like basically an average Scooby-Doo film. Again, it was the first one. It knew what it probably had to be. And sometimes, yeah, having to work on changing an R-rated script made complete sense. So I think this film definitely deserves thumbs in the middle. Kind of okay, kind of alright, but kind of still good. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.